Stop losing to the Sicilian defense by using the Bobby Fischer special. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And today, I'm going to be recommending the Bobby Fischer special in how he attacks the Sicilian and how he uses his variation to attack the Sicilian defense. You know, the Sicilian defense is one of the most popular openings you encounter at all levels in chess. Beginner level, intermediate level, masters level, GM level. There's a lot of theory in Sicilian. There's a lot of theory, and some people are scared to face the Sicilian because if you don't know the lines, you might get into some complications and get into trouble as quickly as possible. So to avoid all the solid open lines that leads to tactical play and easily falling into traps, I would recommend you go with the Bobby Fischer special, which is called the Closed Sicilian. You know, the Sicilian starts with e4, c5. This is the Sicilian defense, and there's a lot of openings from here. You know, there's a, you know, the normal move is knight f3 to be able to push d4. Then maybe they go here or go for the dragon. There's so many variations they can go for. They can go for the Rosalimo, which after knight here is bringing this bishop here. They can also go for the Najdov. There's also Najdov variation. There's also Taimanov, Scheveningen, and my favorite, the one I like to play as black, the Kalashnikov variation. But in this game, I'm going to be telling you how you can combat the Sicilian as white in all levels to get them away from their prep. Today's video, I'm going to be recommending what is called the Closed Sicilian. So whenever you see the Sicilian, I want you to, instead of developing this knight to f3, I want you to develop this knight instead, okay? And in this video, I'm going to go through the main lines of the Closed Sicilian and also show you about 3 games that Bobby Fischer used this Closed Sicilian to destroy his opponent. And also, I'll be telling you about 3 fun facts of Bobby Fischer, one after each game. All right, so it's gonna be an interesting one. Make sure to stick around till the end and have lots of fun. Enjoy. So this is called the Closed Sicilian. As we said, if you know Bobby Fischer, you know he was one of the greatest bishop specialists. e4, c5, and then you activate the Closed Sicilian. Black's ideas is to normally develop this knight to control d4. In the traditional line, you might want to bring out this one, but if you play d4 right away, you're going to transpose into an Open Sicilian. What I'm recommending today is Bobby Fischer's fianchetto line of the Closed Sicilian. And black, in most cases here, will go for the dragon, also fianchetto in their bishop to control d4. And you're going to fianchetto this one. They develop their bishop, and then you are not putting your knight here, but you're playing knight here, also putting the second defender to the d4 square. So what you want to do here is go d3, develop the bishop, or here, then you can also bring the queen to d2 and get the battery on this side after it develops, or, you know, pushes whatever structure black prefers. And now you can castle. Black can choose this setup or this setup to go for the d5 or develop their knight, or just, you know, so many options here. Let's say they go with this. You can go here. You're ready to castle, and also your bishop can get in the game or get in the game. And then once your bishop moves, your queen can come to d2. You can have a battery here to exchange the bishop once the knight moves and the castle. And also you can even castle queenside. So these are all the mainline ideas. This knight might jump here, also supported by knight here. You know, we're going to see all these ideas in a few games. I'm going to be showing you where Bobby Fischer played. But these are the main lines and main idea of the Closed Sicilian. And you also need to prevent queenside expansion from black in that regard. So this is the first game. This is Bobby Fischer against Boris Spassky, former world champion. And this happened in 1992 in Yugoslavia. Bobby Fischer played this game with 96.7% accuracy at a 3000 rating gameplay. All right. So it started with the Sicilian. Boris Spassky started with the Sicilian. Bobby Fischer went for the Closed Sicilian. This is what I recommend for you guys, to start playing the Closed Sicilian today. Then, of course, he went for the main line. And then you see, Bobby Fischer wanted to develop this knight here so that to enable the kingside pawn push if need be, and also to fianchetto this the light square bishop, right? So white played standard He went for the d4, controlling the center. This happens in a lot of Sicilian. Sicilian is so complex that no matter where you start from, you can also transpose into Open Sicilian, into the other variations that are theory heavy, right? So, but I don't recommend going into all of those. So just develop your bishop as he is. Then there are two moves here. You can either play this to reinforce this pawn and also castling long, ready for the pawn storm coming on the king side. Yes, exactly. He played f3 now. And now a6 is very important to prevent any of the pieces going to b5 because you have 3 pieces covering that square. And now white quickly castled. Of course, the opponent castled as well. All these are book moves. When you get opposite side castling, it calls for a very dynamic tactical game where the side that attacks first, if you strike first, you probably have an advantage. If you strike first with accuracy. And now Bobby Fischer went for the pawn stomp. Again, this is another book move. Knight takes on the center d4. Bishop takes back. It strikes in the center. So it's like opposite side of attack, right? It strikes. This is still book moves. It pushes back the knight. Very important. And now you defend the pawn, but with h4. He attacks your knight, but you just play knight to a4. Knight to a4 because there's a tactic looming here. And also black fianchettos his light square bishop. This was a brilliant move out of the blues. Because if you take, he has queen takes, attacking both of the pieces, and he's going to win the piece back with a pawn. So that's the whole idea of that move. Of course, Boris Spassky saw that and he refused to take. He's also lining up his rook. You know that when white castles the long way, he has to play king b1. Very nice move. So white exchanged the knight. Yeah, king b1 will come sooner or later when you castle to the queen side. And then white continues its development. You know, everything is lining up to the king side. Black wants to start his own pawn storm, and white continues with his advancement. Black attacks the bishop. He can't go back here. He has to go back here to defend and also create some problems with this advancement. So black rerouted his bishop to go here to create some attacking chances, right? Once this pawn, but it's too slow because Fischer's pawn is already here and it's ready to cause chaos, ready for trouble. Fischer brings in the last rook in the attack. There's no way out. Boris tries, but it's too slow. Fischer goes for the g6 pawn break. He defends, which is the best move actually. He takes, opening up that square, opening up. The king refuses to take because if he had taken, you know, there's h6 looming and so many tactical ideas opening up this bishop and stuff. And he played the best move here, bishop g5. Of course, you refuse to take. If you take, you're helping white get a piece into the attack, and that's a checkmate threat. So in this position, Fischer kept the pressure, as they say. To take is a mistake. At the advanced level of chess, to take is a mistake. You only go for exchanges that are beneficial to you. So he takes with the rook with the hopes of doubling up on this file. Doubling up. And then he took the pawn, the g7 pawn, which is attacked, and also defending the h7 pawn. And now Bobby Fischer played h6, you know, to add more defense to this rook and solidifying that rook. And now he just closed any idea of attack on the queen side. Takes, rook activation, and now Bobby Fischer lined up what is called the Alekin's gun, leaving this pawn undefended, because if you take, just so you know, if you take, this is going to be checkmate. Here, make a new queen, and then once it takes, and then you just checkmate. So that's the whole idea of that. So if you see, how do you know that your opponent is confused? When he makes the same move back and forth, he has no plan, right? So Boris just went here. Spassky just went here and came back. And then Fischer played this because he has how many pieces defending that square? He had 4 pieces defending that square, and there were only 3 defenders. So now he takes, he gives the check, he went back, and then pawn push, reinforcing the same idea. And now he has no escape square because he's going to fall into some checkmating idea because of the double trouble. So this is the first game. I'm going to tell you a fun fact about Bobby Fischer right now. Did you know that Bobby Fischer learned Russian language to read chess books in Russia? Because the chess books were written in Russian language, he actually learned the language of the Russian language just to read the chess books. This is the game 2 of Bobby Fischer using the Closed Sicilian variation, using the chameleon variation to destroy the Sicilian defense. All right. And this match happened in 1970 in Zagreb, Croatia. This is Bobby Fischer versus Mario Bertuk. And Bobby Fischer played this game with 93.2% accuracy, 2950 gameplay. So let's see the game. Of course, it started with a Closed Sicilian. This is the setup for the Closed Sicilian. And this is the main line. Knight e2, knight ge2, very important, you know, fianchettoing that light square bishop and also getting some control of d4. He went for the fianchetto right away. You have to take that pawn, takes back, going for this. Not afraid of this. You're going to see why. So white develops to reinforce the defense of this because there were 2 attackers on that, and played d4. Takes, and if you can see very well, you see that black already has an isolated pawn on d5. So this is called the IQP, isolated queen's pawn. Black tries to poke the queen runs away. Then he develops his bishop, attack that beautiful black bishop, and now you taking on e6, eliminating that light square bishop, because Fischer, of course, as I said earlier, he loves his bishop. He loves his bishop being active. So if you can eliminate your bishop, he's a bishop man. So he's going to take with the knight. And now he castled. This one he castled actually short. Black castled as well. You know, developing the bishop to g5. And then bringing back the bishop. He's just here. He just played what is called a poking move. Poking to see the response. He knew that if he played h6, he could have just gone here right away, but he wanted to create weaknesses. He wanted to create light square weaknesses. That's why he played this move to force black to extend, and which he did. And then he came back to d2, and now rook ae1. This is a weak pawn, so that's gonna be our main target in this game. It's a weak pawn and it's going to be targeted. White gets away from all the bishop shenanigans, all the pin situation. Also preventing this knight tempo on the queen. Very important move. Strike on the king side, f4. This is the way. He goes here. You continue. You see those pawn storm. The king is safe. The bishops are guarding the king from any checks, and we're chilling. Here you can't take, because if you take, that knight is pinned and you're gonna lose the knight. So of course he played knight e4. Takes, preventing. This is a double attack on the queen and the bishop, preventing the bishop. And white played a very nice tactic here, attacking the queen, trying to get a queen away from the defense of this guy. You can't go here, can't go here. He played the only move, which is queen b3, and now white played a discovered deflection or something to attack the bishop on d2. And now white takes because he's going to win the pawn. First of all, he played an intermezzo, capturing on h6 before taking the pawn on e4. Yeah, and now if you look very closely, you see that the queen infiltration is about to happen. Is about to checkmate here. So white plays the only defensive move, which is queen c3, attacking the rook and also defending the h3 pawn. Very, very nice. Black continues to line up and also defend his bishop. Black queen gets closer to the defense. White tries to reroute the knight, but white opens up the position. White takes on g7. In this position, a normal person would just say, okay, let me just take and maybe exchange the queens. But you know Bobby Fischer, he loves his bishop so much, and because the king is in the open, this bishop is so useful, is more valuable than the knight. So he just moves his queen one more time to b3, poking on e6, and also keeping the line of defense and also this line of defense. There's no check, no funny business going on. He finally took, and now he let go of the bishop for a reason, because the king is now in the open. He goes here, provided this check, and now it's mate in 9, and the opponent resigned. The opponent resigned here because it's mate in 9. No matter what he plays, the rook, if he goes here, the rook gets in. The rook gets in, infiltration, and so many other things. Yeah, this is definitely a winning position. And the opponent resigned because it was too much. So it's the first win here. Fun fact number 2. Did you know that Bobby Fischer became a GM, a Grandmaster at age 15? He became the Grandmaster in 1958. Again, this game is against Boris Spassky in the same 1992 in Yugoslavia. And Bobby Fischer played this game with 96.2% accuracy, 3000 level gameplay. That's some high level stuff, of course. He's one of the GOATs, Bobby Fischer, very revered and respected. So let's have a look. And this is also the Closed Sicilian. So it starts with e4. Boris Spassky plays the Sicilian. Bobby, the fisherman, closed the Sicilian. No open Sicilian allowed here. He closed the Sicilian. Boris plays his normal line, standard move. Bobby, knight g to e2, attacking d4, and also ready to fianchetto the bishop on g2. Okay, this is all book moves. Takes, attack the pawn on g5. He pushes. This is also very important. So you need to know what to do when they advance the pawn on d5 instead of defending instead of developing to defend. You need to know that this is the right move. You have to put your knight on d5. It's defended by the bishop, and you need to know what to do when they attack it. Knight f4. This is the way. Double defense, double attack. We're chilling. We're ready to castle. And now he takes, taking back with the knight. He develops his bishop, and white castle, black castle. Now we're successfully out of the opening, getting into the middle game. White plays d3 to unleash the power of the bishop. And as I said earlier, we all know Mr. Bobby Fischer. He loves having his bishop. He loves the bishop, right? He doesn't mind giving up the knight. He loves the bishop. So here, and because he loves the bishop, he always likes to exchange one of his knights for his opponent's bishop, just so he can have 2 bishops. He's a master at controlling bishops. So here he played h3, preventing anything from coming to g4, and also continues his defense. White needed to develop this bishop because it was just passive here, and you need to connect your rooks as well. White centralizes and grabs the e-file. Black contests for the e-file. White exchanges. White takes with the queen. And now black plays this queen move, ready to chase out the queen and gain control of the same e-file. And watch this. Bobby started attack. And he played a tempo move on the queen. You don't want to take because, of course, you lose. This comes with check, and then you're down piece. And now he played the best move, queen d1, ready to bring the queen back in action. Takes. And now queen f3. Very nice. See this beautiful battery. And this is a very important situation in the game. These 2 pieces are attacking this pawn, and this knight is also attacking this guy. So Bobby Fischer played the best move, which was to take the b2 pawn, b7 pawn, and allow black to take on c2 so that you can go here and win the c5 pawn. After the queen exchange, we went into an endgame, and now this knight is also attacking this guy. So watch how Bobby deals with it. Bringing the bishop back. Beautiful. Bobby likes his bishop pointing at the king side. If you watch most of his games, he loves his light square bishop. Allowing that take, and first of all, before taking here, place an attack on this guy. He exchanged the bishop because he gets the c5 pawn. And now, very nice, getting into the end game. This is the end game. He activates his king. I mean, yeah, rooks on the 7th are in heaven. But he just tries to attack this pawn, and then white defense. Tempo moves. Going there, which was a great move. Attacking this pawn. King activation. More king activation. Getting the king to e4 so as to capture the d4 pawn. Takes, go back and defend this g4 pawn. Black closes the position and white attacks the rook. Rook to the first rank, allowing this capture. Black tries to get in, setting up some stuff here, which was the best move, attacking this. Now this move is actually pointless because your bishop is under attack. And even though the king has to step into a discovery, the discovery is not that great because you can't really win anything because the bishop is under attack. So you just move the bishop, and now centralizing this rook, defending and also kind of attacking. Very nice move. And now still defending the bishop. And when it's settled, you start pushing the pass pawn. In the end game, once you have a pass pawn, you need to create threats. You need to start pushing the pass pawn by getting your rooks. You need to start pushing the pass pawn. Push the pass pawn. Rooks behind it. This is the right way to do it. And rooks defending the pass pawn. You went here attacking the knight and also defending the d3 pawn. Provided a check, move closer, and another check. Move closer. He doesn't have any discovered or anything because this is gonna hang, right? And now he just gave this check, win this. If he checks again, the rook is defended and we're chilling. Goes here, watch the beautiful conversion, getting the king active. King active here. This is coming. Yeah, king here is beautiful stuff. Just knowing that, look at the understanding of the endgame knowledge. Knowing that this is just winning, setting this, there's that, king takes, and is in trouble. Yeah, and in this position, Boris Spassky resigned. So I implore you today to start playing the Closed Sicilian. If you want me to cover more of the games of the Closed Sicilian, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Another fun fact about Bobby Fischer is that while he was detained in Japan, he married the president of the Japanese Chess Association, Miyoko Watai. I think that was in early 2000. That's when he married Miyoko Watai. And before he died, his famous last words were, "Nothing is as healing as the human touch." This emphasizes the importance of family and friends being there for you, the importance of socializing with your friends, just human touch. Nothing is as healing as the human touch. If you want to check out another way of combating the Sicilian, check out my previous video on the Mengarini Sicilian. That's another fun way of destroying the Sicilian as white. All right, I'll catch you in the next attack. Peace.